Hello again, my name's Adrian Zacher, and thank you for joining us for another 5 minutes with. So I'm joined by my co-host, Dr. Phyllis Murphy, PhD.
Good morning.
And Dr. Jonathan Sunkersing, GP, with a special interest in sleep.
Hello, good morning.
Yourself, Jonathan.
Nice to meet you. Yeah, so I'm a GP. I was in one life actually working in intensive care and emergency medicine, and unfortunately I developed something called shift work disorder, which we could talk about another time perhaps, but I found it very hard to sleep at the wrong time of day or the right time, depending on what shift I was doing. And so consequently I changed to become a GP, retrained, and there was a lecture on...
GPs get loads of sleep, don't they?
Well, I used to get more sleep. Sorry, say that again.
I said it's so good to have a GP with such a special interest in sleep medicine, because there's just not enough of you.
Yes, indeed. Well, I think it's something that we all do, sleeping, and sleep medicine comes into every part of medicine. You can't escape it, and it's partly why I'm interested in it. And also, when I was thinking about sleep as a whole, I was thinking, well, why do we have so much? I suppose it's been affected by sleep, but have so little training and knowledge about sleep in general. Thankfully, work is going on that's improving that and our knowledge. So it's an exciting space to be in.
Definitely. I mean, I'm seeing a lot more media coverage in the last 3 months, 4 months, of people actually coming on, and television featuring sleep apnea as well. So it is really encouraging that the profile is actually being raised, and we're starting to hear more people talking about it. Yeah.
It's interesting, a very good point. I think it's great, the general growth of awareness around sleep, but then you want to start to question the quality of the information that goes out there. What would you say on that one, Jonathan?
It's a very good point. I mean, there's several things to think about when we say sleep in general, and there's an element of sleep that is going to be disease. Sleep diseases come across, or we have different problems in terms of sleep. People can't get to sleep, they can't stay asleep, or they do odd things in their sleep, and also people then have consequences from other aspects of health as a result of poor sleep. Now, all of that comes under the umbrella of medicine in some ways. Then there's sleep that is normal sleep, but we'd like to make it better. We're still sleeping well, but we could say in that branch of sort of the world, that could be wellness or optimizing, or trying to just exactly, trying to get it as good as we can. Now, it's not bad necessarily to be optimizing like we do with diet and exercise, but there is a danger that we can merge these two things, where we could give somebody an optimization strategy when they actually have undiagnosed sleep apnea or another condition, and that's potentially hazardous for the general public, and the other way around as well. Some of the optimization strategies won't work, and so we need good evidence.
Yeah, I mean, underdiagnosis is a big issue, and this is something that we're trying to address, Adrian, with the weight check study.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for optimizing things, and I follow the logic, but it's based on the assumption that your sleep is of a reasonable quality and quantity, and you're then wanting to improve it. But if it's fundamentally not right in the first place, it comes back to, let's get airway, breathing, circulation. If you can't breathe when you go to sleep, you're going to have a problem, and no amount of optimizing is going to help with the fact that you have sleep apnea, undiagnosed, and it needs treating. And 80% is of the population, we believe, are undiagnosed OSA. It's the awareness. Let's start with awareness. I mean, that's the first thing, awareness, and then education, and so on. But I mean, yeah, where do we begin? It's a huge mountain, but I can't sit here in all good conscience after 30 years in this industry, and I don't want to be here in 10 years time and it be the same situation. We've got to try to change that. I'm not satisfied with just citing this 80% undiagnosed each year. That's crazy. We've got to move. Something has to change. So go on, throw it out there. What would you change? Come on, there's a thorny one. Come on, Jonathan. What would you change?
Well, thank you for the difficult questions. Yeah. Well, I agree with you entirely. I think the first thing is that if we look at awareness of sleep in general, for many, many years, for a third of our life, we just ignored it. It was just like, well, it's a postscript in our sort of in society, not necessarily in medicine. And so that's the first thing, that actually, yes, there is some good news that we are becoming more aware that sleep is actually important. We should be encouraged by that. I think the next thing is, if you look at policy, health, and the broader picture, who is making the big decisions? They should wake up to the fact that there's a £4.2 billion just from OSA problem or cost to the economy. That's just one part of sleep. The second thing, I suppose, is that this problem is only going to get bigger. We know that 80%, as you quoted, is undiagnosed. So when they turn up, there's going to be more other health costs that we are going to have to think about. And I think when you think about, you're saying, how do you move this forward? If you look at big public health campaigns in the past, chronic diseases like smoking related illness, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, for example, there's been great success in those, and we know that they are very important for health. But what we don't appreciate is actually underneath that is sleep. They're driven, those factors are driven or worsened by poor sleep. And so we need to have that message in a public health forum, and then that trickles down, or you could go the other way up as well. Society thinks, okay, this is important to me, why isn't there this service? You can ask your MP or whoever to say, well, I'd like to see a sleep doctor, or to have a service that I can ask about sleep and have good evidence-based or robust help with it, in the same way that I would be able to speak to somebody about my diabetes or my heart. And I think that joined up thinking then results in a transition as a nation.
Joined up thinking. I mean, we're all sat here, we're in this little echo chamber of sleep people, but we know that sleep confounds your diabetes, your obesity, your cardiovascular disease. So
the list is endless, Adrian.
Exactly, but it's like, and I think your point is that sleep exists in pretty much all of it, but it doesn't appear in any of it at the same time. It's like we want it to be, it needs that horrible word, the holistic view. I mean, sleep is there in all of it. It can't just be a bolt-on. I think that's my point.
Absolutely. And there's very recent data, you may have seen a very worrying graph about where the UK stands in terms of life expectancy.
Yes,
and
indeed.
we used to be, I think, 14th in the world in terms of life expectancy, and now we're 20th out of 21, just above the USA. Now, what is driving that? There are many factors behind that, potentially, but what could we do to reverse that trend? Why is Japan, for example, number one in terms of life expectancy in developed world continuously? And one of the big things, I remember, there's an anecdote here that I was sitting on the beach reading the Lancet. I was a bit of an odd medical student in some ways, but
you do. Sitting on the beach, reading the Lancet. Tells me a lot about you, Jonathan.
I had some project I was doing, or some work that I had to do. And I thought, well, I'll sit on the beach and do it. And it was about a big study or series about public health interventions, and why Japan moved from a very low life expectancy to the highest in the world in a relatively short period of time. This was within a few generations, not 100 years. And it just shows or illustrates the fact that if you do something strategically and well, you can make a significant impact in a relatively short space of time. And that was to do with cardiovascular, diet, salt intake, hypertension management, all of these things. But again, that joined up idea behind that at all levels of society, not just health, but other, marketing of products, how we think about our health as public, advertising, media, all of this. then shows you what is actually possible. So that paper really stuck with me. Many years later. I'm not a medical student anymore. That was a long time ago.
You've given up reading the Lancet on the beach now.
Yeah, I'm too far away from the beach, unfortunately.
All right, Phyllis, did you want to have anything to add, or should we move to talking about the weight check?
I think maybe move on and let's talk about the weight check study in the UK and UK adults and why it's so important to conduct this study and reach the 5,000 people that we can get, because we can't talk about prevalence and use the word prevalence in a confident way without actually having the numbers that we want in the study.
A good size sample, yes. So as it stands right now, we're just shy of 2,000 participants, which is great. What we really want is the media. Hello, media. We want you to talk about sleep apnea and insomnia symptoms, and that the study is actually running right now, and it's useful for people. They actually get something back from it if they find out in 5 minutes their symptoms, and they build this data set that we need. Now, Phyllis, when was the last time that we were referring to the data being obsolete? I mean, it was what, 2014, I think?
It was the British Lung Foundation in 2015, because I was involved with it at the time, and we looked at referral criteria, and I helped them to do that. So that was back in 2014, and then we had a paper from Jörg Sayer, I think, and that was the last time.
Yes,
we've got a huge amount of data from Adam Benjafield, who's part of the research team, but it's extrapolated from other areas to the UK, so we don't have that good UK data, which I think is key to the study that we're actually trying to do this now.
Without knowing the size of the problem, everything else is guesswork. Selling it as it is, I'm sorry, but okay. On that note, hey, thank you very much, Dr. Jonathan Sunkersing, for joining us. Go back to your Lancet on the beach. Phyllis, it's lovely speaking with you as usual, and join us next time for another 5 Minutes With. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.